Buonanotte, welcome to everyone. Welcome back to another video. So, as some of you might have heard in my last video that I did bring up a particular video that I wanted to do, and I do want to say a few things before I do this. Look, I will not be, once again, I will not be supporting the domestic competition here in the U.S. this year as a content creator, anything like that. It's a personal decision of mine. I won't even be bringing up the name of the competition. But as a rugby content guy, I feel like, and you see my loyalty, the shirt, the flag, my tattoo, everything, my loyalty to South African rugby will always remain. And I felt like, hey, I need to let people know, hey, these are the guys that are playing here in the US. And I wanted to do a video where I could at least discuss the South African born players that are going to be playing professionally here in the United States this year without bringing up the name of the competition and with only naming the city that they will be playing in. Now, once again, I will not be covering this league this year. But if you would like to cover it, it is not. If you would like to follow along with the league, it is not hard to do. I'm not going to leave any links underneath the video for it because, like I said, I am not supporting the domestic competition in this country at this time, and probably won't for the foreseeable future. But with that being said, I felt like I said, a lot of you guys, I am the only American guy that you really talk to on a regular basis here, American in quotations. But I felt like, hey, I would be doing a disservice to our young men that are over here plying their trade in North America without at least mentioning, hey, this is who's here. So once again, I'm not going to go, I'm not going to start covering this. I just wanted to let people know. And also some interesting numbers before we start this list. We will start out with the Currie Cup sides onto the URC/Super Rugby sides the farther we go down. But at the beginning of the list, I do want to go ahead and bring up a few key numbers here. So of all the foreign brought players that are brought in here for the domestic competition, you can rest easy that South Africa is still the number one producer of foreign-born players here in the U.S. in the professional competition, with 39 total South African-born players. There might have been a few that slipped through the cracks, but this was through my research today. 39, followed by Kiwis with 36, followed by the Aussies with 28, followed by Argentinians with 20, followed by the English with 16, followed by the Irish with 12, followed by Samoans with 10, followed by the Scottish with 8, Uruguay and Tonga tie at 7, Namibians and Fijians tie at 6, 4 Chileans and 4 Welshmen, and then there are also a handful: Zimbabwe, Netherlands, Belgium, Ivory Coast, Italy, Singapore, I think Hong Kong, I think South Korea, I think Malaysia. You guys get the point that it is obviously very heavy on rugby championship players here in the North American competition. Interesting fact to note that the team that finished at the top of the table and the team that finished at the bottom of the table last year both have 23 imports each. That would be San Diego and that would be Dallas. The team with the least amount of imports is a new team in the league. World Rugby has financed a team in Carolina, and they only have 11 imports on that roster. The teams with the most U.S. and Canadian players, which Canadians are not considered imports in this league, are Carolina with 28, followed by Utah with 24, followed by New England with 23. Miami has the least U.S.-born and Canadian players with 14. The South African-born players by team in this league are: Houston has 11. Obviously, we know why, with Pote Human and Heineke Meyer coaching the program there. Seattle has 5. New England and Dallas both have 4. Los Angeles and Utah both have 3. Miami, Chicago, and New Orleans all have 2. San Diego has 1, and Carolina and D.C. have none. It's kind of not really a big shocker there. But we will go ahead and we will start our list. We are going to start out with the Leopards, which play in the lower division, I believe, of the Currie Cup. They do have 2 players playing here in the United States. Marno Redelianches is a 31-year-old flank lock number 8 from Klerksdorp, Northwest Province. He also spent time with the Western Province and Stormers. He will be playing for Houston. The other former Leopard will be John Roy Jenkinson. He is a 32-year-old prop from Richards Bay, KwaZulu-Natal, KZN. He also played for he's a bit of a journeyman. He played for the Cheetahs. He has 4 caps with the Bulls, the Blue Bulls, and the Greek Walls, and he is a SAU 20 veteran. He will be playing for New England. The Bolin Cavaliers out of Wellington, Western Province, only have one player, and he is a gentleman, and hopefully I'll be able to pop his photo up here. You guys all know Adrian Carroll's. He is a 29-year-old. It says Somerset West. He's actually from Sir Lowry's Pass, a Hottentots High grad. He also played with the Cheetahs. He is a fly half and fullback. He has played with Atlanta, who no longer exists, Dallas, Seattle, and now he will be playing for Chicago this upcoming season. He's a great kid. Love Adrian to death. The Golden Lions have 4 current players. Vaughan Isaacs, he is a fly half fullback from Craddock, Eastern Cape. He also spent time with the Blue Bulls. He will be playing here in Dallas. Wayne Vanderbonk, he is a 27-year-old center from Pretoria. He also played with the Pumas a bit. He will be playing in New England this year. Reese Botha, he's a 27-year-old fly half center from Johannesburg. He is USA eligible as he did graduate from Lindenwood University. He is playing for New Orleans. And finally, Rhino Herbst, he is a 27-year-old lock from Roodepoort, Gauteng. He also put in time with the regular Lions as well, and he is playing with Seattle. Next up will be the Sharks, the Currie Cup side, not the main squad. They do have 2 players that are going to be playing this season in the United States. Max Van Dyke is a 32-year-old prop from Joburg. He is a bit of a journeyman. He is a Paarl boys school grad there in the Western Cape. He also spent time with the Cheetahs, the Greek was Leinster, Toulouse, Worcester Warriors, Harlequins, and Pau in France. He is an SAU 20 veteran. He will be playing for Houston. Jordan Chait is a 27-year-old fly half from Cape Town. He is a Stellenbosch grad there in the Western Cape, and also played with the Tel Aviv Heat. I believe that is like the European Challenge League or something like that. He will be playing for Los Angeles. The Griquas, Tafellager Griquas, I believe is their full name, have 2 former players playing here in the United States this year. Johan Momsen is a 28-year-old lock from Paarl in the Western Cape. He's a Paarl Gymnasium grad and a Stellenbosch University grad. He will be playing for Houston. Michael Amiris is a 20-year-old flanker from Benoni. It's a suburb of Johannesburg. He also played for Slava Moscow in Russia, and he will be playing for Los Angeles. Now we will start getting to some of the teams that have a little bit more guys. Western Province, the Currie Cup Western Province side will have a total of 4 players playing here in the United States this year. Annie Mteto is a 28-year-old wing fullback from Port Elizabeth. He is USA eligible. He is a Lindenwood University grad. He will be playing for Dallas. JP Duplessis is a 32-year-old journeyman from Kroonstad, Free State. He is quite the journeyman, having played in the NRL with the Roosters there in Australia, also with the Melbourne Rebels, the Stormers, Montpelier, Cheetahs, Eastern Province Kings, Southern Kings, a Paul Roos Gymnasium grad, and his brother Mueller has over 100 caps for the Blitzboks. He will be playing for New Orleans. Jurie Van Wooden is a 30-year-old lock flanker from Lady Brown Free State. He also played for the Southern Kings and Elephants. He was playing with Utah this last year. He will be playing with Los Angeles this year. And lastly, for the Western Province alums will be Tion Lutz. He is a 32-year-old center from Cape Town. He also played with the Leopards, and he will be playing in San Diego this year. The Blue Bulls, now we're getting to the really big ones here, have 8 total alums playing here in the United States this coming season. Starting off with Lawrence Vanderskiff. He is a 25-year-old center from Middleburg. He will be playing with Houston. Davey Kutzer will be back once again for Houston. He turns 25 this month. He is originally from Port Elizabeth. He also spent some time with the Western Province. He is an SAU 20 alum, and he will be playing once again for Houston. Jaco Benzudenhout. I'm sure I butchered that. He's a 27-year-old flanker from Pretoria. He will be playing with New England. Dewald Donald is a 24-year-old loosehead prop from Pretoria. He is a University of Pretoria grad as well. He will be playing with Seattle. Jade Stigling is a 30-year-old winger center from Johannesburg. He also spent time with the Pumas, and he will be playing with Seattle. Duncan Matthews is a 29-year-old utility back from Atlanta, Western Cape. He also spent time with the Lions, and he will be playing with Seattle. Another guy that I met, don't have a picture of us together, but Franco Vandenberg is a 27-year-old loosehead prop from Randburg, Gauteng. He did study law at the University of Pretoria. He is an SAU 20 alum, and he will be playing with Utah. He is another one of these guys. There's a couple of them that are on the list here of guys that have come here and straight up moved here. Franco has a wife and I believe 2 children. Very, very nice guy. Loves living it here. And you guys will hear me say this, and I'll say it again. South Africans can assimilate to American culture very, very well. Texas culture even more so. We like a good outdoor cooking, braai. We call it a barbecue here. People are church going. People are fishing, hunting. Like, this is South Africans assimilate to culture, especially here in Texas, very, very well. Franco is another perfect example of South Africans that can assimilate to American culture very, very well. And he came here with a dream, and he's living his dream. So good on you, Franco. And last but not least is Jean Drost. He is a 30-year-old lock flanker from Pretoria. He also, a bit of a journeyman himself. He spent time with the Cheetahs, the Sharks, the Kubota Spears, Green Rockets, and Sanex Blues in Japan, and he will be playing for Seattle this year. Now, the biggest of all the Currie Cup sides, and no shock to anybody, it is the Cheetahs out of Bloemfontein. They have 9 total former players here. Louis Conradi is a 27-year-old lock from Pretoria, a bit of a journeyman as well, as a Paul Roos grad, played for the Asia Pacific Dragons, Penarol, Otago, and the MPC, Shining Arcs, the Blue Bulls, Toyota Verblitz in Japan, and Tel Aviv Heat. He will be playing for Utah this year. Jonas Venter is a 25-year-old hooker from Johannesburg. He also put in time with the Griffins as well. He will be playing with Chicago. Juan D. Oliver is a 21-year-old scrum half from Bloemfontein. He put in some time with the U21s there. Apparently, he was also a cricket player as well. He is a Grey College grad, and he will be playing for Dallas. Marcel Mueller is a 22-year-old wing from Bloemfontein. He is a Grey College grad as well. He will also be playing for Dallas. Tian Erasmus is a 27-year-old front row player from Pretoria. He will be playing for Houston. Gideon Van Beek is a 22-year-old flanker from Lichtenburg, Northwest Province. He will be playing for Houston as well. Once again, another guy who I do actually know very well, Carlo Denason, the 27-year-old scrum half from Pretoria. He also spent time with the Blue Bulls Academy. He is USA eligible, and he will be once again playing with Houston. Another gentleman, I'll be able to pop a photo up here, Hedy Labuschagne, or Jerry Labuschagne, as they say here, is a 28-year-old utility back from Springs. He also spent a bit of time, or he played with the Pumas a bit, also played in Japan a little bit. He is a new father. I think I'd give him an excuse to put up. Yeah, Hedy is a guy that is going to stay here. He obviously has a wife, or I think they're going to get married. He has a beautiful child. Hedy was a guy that I gave a lot of crap to, and once I met him, I realized he was a really nice guy. I met him the day I got engaged, and his missus was like, "Why do you make?" I made memes. I basically said, when you order Jordy Barrett from Wish, and this is what you get. He laughed because, like, who wouldn't want to be compared to Jordy Barrett? But a very nice guy. I wish him all the luck. Great guy from the Western Cape. And last but not least is J.P. Smith, is a 29-year-old scrum half, fly half from Blemhof, Northwest Province. He played with the Bulls, Southern Kings, and Elephants as well. He is an SAU 20 alum, and he is now USA eligible. He will be playing for Seattle. Now we have gotten to the guys that actually put some time in the URC or Super Rugby, whatever it was at the time. First, we only got one from the Lions. That's Andre Warner. He's a 30-year-old scrum half from Cape Town originally. He also earned 20 caps with the Bulls. He will be playing for Houston. Another one guy for the Bulls, we've got Roloff Schmidt. He is a 31-year-old flanker from Queenstown, Eastern Cape. He also played with the Lions as well. An SAU 20 alum. He will be playing with Miami. And we've got two former Stormers guys. We've got Justin Bassan, a 30-year-old lock from Cape Town, also played for the Cheetahs, Sharks, and Western Province, and he will be playing for Houston. And last but not least, probably the most well-known of the former South African players, Dan Krill, a 30-year-old center from Cape Town. He also put in time with the Bulls and Lions. SAU 20s, obviously twin brother of Springbok, Jesse Krill, another example of a guy that has moved here and stayed here. He did win a couple of community service awards in the last few years there in Seattle. I think he has a child with some medical conditions, and Dan has really just made America his home, and it's good for him. And I tip my hat to him. He's a great dude. So then there were three players that were South African born but had really no background in South Africa. The first one is going to be Josh McAdam. He's a 27-year-old center from Johannesburg. He is USA eligible. He never played 15s in South Africa, but he played 7s. He is a Davenport grad, and he will be playing for Miami. Next one is a USA Eagle, Riekert Hadding. He is a 29-year-old flanker, number 8 from Pretoria. He has about a half dozen or so USA caps under his belt. His father was Drickus Hadding, who earned a handful of caps for the Springboks between 1992 and 1994. He will be playing for Seattle. And Dylan Nell. He's a 31-year-old flanker, number 8 from Durban and KwaZulu-Natal. He played, oddly enough, in Canterbury and Otago in the NPC in New Zealand. He also had a couple of caps for my Waikato Chiefs and played for the Mitsubishi Dino Bears in Japan. He will be playing for Utah. So, with this being said, with the numbers here, I brought them up at the beginning of the video. Obviously, this isn't the only league in the world that's like this. Look at the Six Nations. Look at how many South Africans are playing in the Six Nations. I know that times can be uncertain. Things aren't always perfect in South Africa. But folks, those of you who live in South Africa know that your rugby is as strong as as it's ever been. When you're pumping out this many exports to the rest of the world, that tells you how healthy your rugby is. Now you could say, oh, well, all the big names are playing overseas. Yeah, that's for money, but they still play for the green and gold when it counts. And we're getting closer and closer. We will be visiting in the spring, guys. And I just want you to know that, I'm not supporting domestic league here, but if you want to, that's fine. I'm not going to tell you not to. And more than anything, if there's any of these South African guys that maybe you remember playing local Currie Cup, you can say, hey, let me see how they're doing. But it does let you know that South African rugby is in a good place right now. And it's, obviously 2 World Cups back to back don't hurt, but you're able to pump out rugby players, not just to feed your own country, but to feed the world. And these young men, when they come here, they don't come here and talk about bad things. They come here and talk about how great South Africa is. These are good ambassadors for your country. Rugby players are great ambassadors. So be proud of these boys, regardless of where they're playing, because it doesn't matter where they go. You know what's in their hearts. And South Africa is always in their heart. So with that being said, guys, I just want to thank you. This was just a short little video that I really, really wanted to do something with. And I don't know, more than anything, just kind of talk about, like I said, South Africans playing here in the United States this upcoming season. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Well, I guess I shouldn't say tomorrow because this will come out afterwards, but I will be getting up early in the morning to watch the game tomorrow. Going to be going live for the Stormers versus Sharks from Hollywood Bets King Park. But until next time, guys, be safe wherever you're at. Totsians, cheers, bye donkey for all the support.